demographic in America due to language and cultural barriers. Reviled and lumped together by the media, their dreams and potential, their humanity is too often swept aside. Mamadou Samba sought not only to preserve that humanity, but to be an advocate of their potential, a bridge that would lessen the gap between them and their new home country. Mamadou has served as commissioner on the Washington, D.C. Commission on African Affairs and currently serves as the executive director of the Mayor's Office of African Affairs. He has successfully fought for resources, grant funding, and policy geared towards aiding the African community.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the Executive Director of the Mayor's Office on African Affairs, Mamadou's accomplishments include the establishment of the first ever, ladies and gentlemen, first ever African Community Affiliates team within the police department to help address the public safety challenges stemming from fear of law enforcement, lack of understanding, language and cultural barriers. The establishment of ECHO, African Diaspora Coding Academy, that provides coding, web and mobile application training to African immigrants and to bridge technology divides. Produced and screened Diaspora in Dialogue, a film that promotes multicultural awareness and raises the visibility of the African community in Washington, D.C. He also launched the Young African Connection Summit in partnership with Howard University, President Obama's Yali Fellows, to create a platform for exchange and collaboration on civic and community engagement, the commemoration of the annual Nelson Mandela Day of Service to celebrate Mandela's legacy within 67 minutes of community service. Ladies and gentlemen, this phenomenal gentleman, please join me in welcoming Mamadou Samba to the stage.
This award. I'd like to thank Applause Africa for this wonderful event and congratulate all my fellow honorees. And by the way, Ato Jollof is in Senegal, not in... And so I'm very honored. I'd like to thank all of my colleagues in DC because all of the accomplishment that you just heard, I'm not the only one doing it. I have a wonderful team. My Deputy Director, Hiran Sereke Burhan, Ms. Awad Mane, and Ali, who support me in my daily work. I'd also like to thank our Mayor, Mayor Bowser in DC, for giving me the unique opportunity to serve as the Executive Director of the only office on African affairs in the entire United States. And, a friend of mine reached out to me on Facebook a couple of months ago and she told me, I follow you very closely on Facebook and you seem very committed, you're very focused on succeeding. And I told her that I'm not focused on succeeding, I'm just focused on not failing. Because it only takes one thing for all of us to fail. And this is what this award is all about, to do not fail in advocating for the African community, to advocate for the fact that for those of us who don't speak English very well, our inability to speak English does not become a barrier to accessing those services that the government provides. Not failing to advocate for resources, so our non-profit organizations, people who are vulnerable get funding to run programs to provide capacity building for African immigrants in the United States. To not fail to advocate for us to be part of the conversation. Because a lot is happening right now in the United States that the African community is not involved. And I know this very well because when I wake up at 5, I'm in the African community. Until when I get home, I'm in the African community. And I see a lot of things that should be happening that is not happening. So I wanted to call on all of you guys to be involved, to sit at the table. Because Malcolm X said that sitting at the table does not make you a diner. You must be eating from what's on that plate. And a lot of us just want to sit at the table. We're not part of the conversation. We just let things happen. And we hope somebody's going to do the work for us. And so we have to be involved. One of the things we can do to be involved is, all of us here live in the United States. When you get back, find out who your mayor is. Find out who your council members are. Find out who your state board of education are. Because they are more important in your daily lives than the president of Senegal. Right? Because here, if our kids cannot go to school and have access to culturally sensitive curriculums, we suffer the consequences. So I wanted to encourage all of you guys to be involved. And lastly, just about a year ago, there was a guy in the Senegalese community who was very good at being an advocate in the community, advocating for so many different things, mostly for unity, for the African community to become together. And I drew inspiration from the guy. His name is Malik Jain. Unfortunately, Malik Jain passed away just about a year ago, so I'd like to share this with him and dedicate it to his family.
Ladies and gentlemen.